Go back and live.
17,700.
The judge.
Yeah, that's great. Good morning, John. I didn't see you. How are you? It's good to see you.
So you.
You've been here all night, because I didn't see it come in.
Yeah.
That's why I had.
Okay.
Go to ENT.
That means I'm okay. You.
Yeah.
Is what okay?
You're back through.
My picture? No, it's not okay.
So then the flower that he from Wendy that he went unto. Yeah.
They don't need to see me. They'd probably rather not see me.
Anyway, so I but and page yes, yes. I know. Yeah.
Oh, thank
Have
you.
not seen her there.
Oh, I appreciate that. Sure.
Yeah, we are. And no, we're the school system. We did the interior. But yeah, I knew, hey, I know she would be good for that space. They were in through her. I just put on, but I realized I could. You know, children's little voices, you can.
That's why I was valedictorian. It was such a small.
Well, I was spending 6 years with him prior to COVID.
We only had 71 in my
They
graduation.
may
For
have.
Campbell High School.
I spent for 2 hearings, close to 7.
I know when they told me I was valedictorian, I said, are you sure? Mine didn't buy them.
She and I.
Okay, it's 10:30. You guys probably on Zoom won't be able to see me, but that's okay, because you don't need to see me. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming on this kind of gray Saturday morning, but this is a good day to have a meeting because we're not tempted by the sunshine and beautiful weather. Did everyone have a chance to take a look at our spring board meeting minutes from March? And if you've read them, does anybody have any corrections or concerns? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted? Okay, Jean motioned
Second.
and John seconded. All in favor? Okay. So I feel like I'm very excited because I'm so excited about our online system, how smoothly, thank you, Diane, Janet, Art, everyone that had a part. I don't think in my wildest dreams it could have gone any better. I really don't.
We had our first sign in for summer at
Uh-huh.
4:25 this morning.
Yeah? Wow. Wow, okay. So we know what some people do when they can't sleep. They go online and register for ICL classes. And Diane's going to give us some more information about that later. But like I said, we had a great spring session. We did have a couple classes, 2 or 3, I think, that got canceled due to lack of registrations. And then the rabbi had to cancel for his own personal reasons, but I understand he's coming back for the summer, which is fabulous news. He was a very popular instructor. And I think we've got a great summer session lined up that Cy will talk about. I've been working with John and others. We're getting ready for the course previews meeting and general meeting.
June
Not
3rd.
2 weeks from today, June 3rd. which we got bumped up a week because they moved alumni weekend. Alumni weekend here used to be the first weekend in June. They moved it to the second weekend, which gave us the first weekend, so we wouldn't conflict. But I think it's actually better for us because it gives us some time to get registrations in. Oftentimes that class happen or that meeting happens and either classes have already started or they're like, starting that Monday. So I think it's a good thing. But all of those arrangements are well underway, and John's going to give us an update on that later on. We did put together a special working group once we adopted the online system and it was up and kind of got going, to look at some of the administrative processes that we had, parking decals, name tags, class hosts. We agreed, and we should probably have a discussion among the broader group just to make sure everyone's comfortable. But we did agree that we no longer want to automatically assign a host for every class. And also to eliminate the vouchers that went along with that process. And instead, we would have a board member, one of us, each one of us take a class. For example, in the summer session, each one of us take a class. If we're in the class, that's the best thing, but because it's a no-brainer. But each of us would serve as kind of an introducer of the first class, just to introduce the instructor, go through some of the house rules, here are the restrooms, that kind of thing, and to pass out parking decals for new folks that didn't have them. So that's going to eliminate the mailing of the parking decals, and the name tags were just getting to be overwhelming in terms of storage. Suzanne did a fabulous job through the years that she did that, but it was the administrative end of it. People, tended to, even if they got them, they might have them the first and wear them the first time they got them, but then take them home, lose them, misplace them, don't know what to do with them. It was becoming a nightmare to try to store them in here. So what we thought was a better idea was to go with, these are erasable name tents that we can put on the table, and markers so that people can write their name. That way everything stays in the class. It's actually much easier for the instructor to see your name. For example, if John had his name tag on, I doubt that I could see what his name was from where I am if I was the instructor. So
Especially if he was playing the ukulele.
yeah, right. So anybody have any concerns or questions or issues about those, I guess, administrative processes or policies? And again, David Fan, who is not in attendance today, nor is Suzanne, but I'm going to give a shout out to both of them at the course previews meeting, but both of them just did stellar work over the years. David in lining up class hosts, coordinators, whatever you want to call them, and giving instruction and tutorials on how to use the AV equipment. That's the other reason we got rid of that role, is because the AV equipment is much more simplified since we got this big screen TV and or new TV, and Young Harris hooked us up. So it's just much less complicated than it was in days past. So unless there are any concerns, Diane?
You tried it this spring, and how did it go with all the board members doing it? I think they might want to.
Yeah, so did anybody here, I know I served as an introducer to a couple of classes, and it seemed to go well. I didn't hear anything to the contrary. Anybody else that, I think Joe, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
And Sai, you did your own because you're in the ukulele. So that's what I mean. I think most of us are in classes. Yeah.
I think we need to make sure the instructors know that they are the ones to run the AV equipment though. And then we were in transition this quarter, and next quarter, I think it will.
Yeah, we'll get George trained.
Yeah.
George, he's referencing, I know it's specifically who John's referencing, because he drew the short straw to introduce George Owen's class. And George is a good friend of mine, but he is very technologically incompetent. And he would be the first to agree with me. So John can relate, Joe can relate. But anyway, George needs a lot of hand-holding in his classes. And but thankfully he took Marty's class on how to run your computer this session. So hopefully that will help to alleviate some of George's concerns going forward. But he's had a lot of health issues, and he's also been a very popular instructor. But I think he's kind of going to come back in the fall. He wants to teach a class on global warming. He's got a good friend that, and I think that'll be a very popular class because I think it's a concern to the majority of folks anymore. So that working group, this is something else I just wanted to throw out. That working group, I tried to just pull in people. I didn't want to make a lot of demands on everybody's time if you weren't involved in those processes. So the working group included Cy because he's head of the curriculum, Diane, of course, because of her involvement, Janet as registrar, obviously Suzanne and David because we needed their counsel, and Steve Demand because we needed their counsel. They were outgoing, and we wanted to make sure that they weren't doing something that we were going to miss or that was going to fall through the cracks. So we met twice, and John, we met twice and just had discussions and vetted different issues, and again came up with those recommendations. But if there's so as board members, would you like to be informed of those kinds of things and come if you want? Or because I know one person said, well, I thought I was invited, and I said, well, you know, you can come if you want, but it's not an immediate impact on your role, or you know, your role doesn't directly impact these decisions. So I think I'll just send out FYIs going forward so people kind of know what's going on, but you don't have to be involved if you don't want to. How's that? Okay. Update on signage for the building. So that leads right into Haley's update. Haley is, I don't know if she's in Florida. She's somewhere. Her sister-in-law just had back surgery, so she's taking care of her. The first feedback on the signage was they had a reusable one-sided sign that we could use and would just have to pay for the insert. We agreed that, or the few of us that were in that working group, that's when I had the feedback, agreed that was not going to work, because if we had a one-sided sign facing the highway, that's no use to us. We need a two-sided sign like all the other signs, so that whether you're coming from Hiawassee or Blairsville, you can see it. Well, they don't have an old one of those frames that we can just put an insert in. So now they're in the process of getting a quote. Haley said that they have not purchased any of those in a long time. She wasn't even comfortable giving me a ballpark price. But he said that they were really expensive is the detail that I got. So we'll see what that means. And then we'll have a discussion as a full board about whether we want to invest that kind of money or not. But I think it's going to be several $1,000s. So just noodle on that until we get a final number. They had the college held commencement on May the 6th, and the facilities started transitioning from college to summer camp mode immediately following that. The WinShape camps for girls have already started preparations. They had about 30 staff members arrive on May 15th, and they'll all be leaving on Monday the 22nd to go to Mount Berry for staff training. And they have about 100 staffers scheduled to arrive around May 29th, with the first camp starting on June 4th. They have 7 weeks of scheduled camp and expect about 325 campers per week. So if you are on campus or in the general area and see, there's a lot of younger kids. They won't look like college kids. Just, you know, I just urge a little extra caution, and that's what's going on if you're just wondering what's going on. The parking lot behind Maxwell and Pruitt Barrett buildings will be closed for several days next week in order to repair the parking lot. The The Ready to Roar program, which is a half-day orientation for incoming freshmen, will be held on June 16th and 17th and July 15th. Unfortunately, the Young Harris baseball team lost to Georgia Southwestern in the Peach Belt Championship game on May 13th, but go Young Harris Mountain Lions. Students are scheduled to start returning to campus the week of August 6th, and classes start on August 14th. So I appreciate Haley's input, because she said she had some hard time getting online and even sending the email. So do appreciate that. John, you want to give us an update?
Sure, yeah, we're working on the nominating committee, and I guess an August meeting we'll have that confirmed, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. The calendar for next year, after June 3rd, you and I get together on that. Okay. I'd like to spend a little bit of time I have on the ice cream social. We're really fortunate that President Drew Van Horn will be there and give us a few minutes of update at that time. I think that's important, not so much for what he says, but the fact that he's actually going to come. And I'm elated how much the college does for us. I didn't realize how much they do, like the setup and you know, they're going to have computer ready. All we have to do is put a zip drive in and have the projector and everything all free. And I think I told some of you that the ice cream didn't go up. Actually, it was $7.25 last year. It's $7.50 a person this year, and we're running on 60 people. So, but it's not a big deal. Let's see. Haley's been wonderful to work with, and I can't say enough good things about her. Anyhow, we're going to have several flavors of ice cream, toppings, water, coffee, and toppings and peanuts, and all the same things from last year on that. Registration, things are a little bit different this year in that we're online. So we've got 3 tables for registration outside of the room. Each one will have 3 terminals. I think Art and Diane are going to bring 2. I'm going to bring my computer. So we have 3 computers there. Somebody could bring theirs as a backup. It'd be nice, just in case one of them doesn't work or something. And Art and Diane and Janet, I'm hoping are going to kind of hover over that to make sure, you know, it's a self-doing thing, but most people are like me and not very good at that.
I think Janet will be there, or I'll be there to either help people.
Yeah.
Or else she will register them. But the issue is when they get to the credit card stuff, we don't want to be involved.
No, and that's good. But like the first time I did it, it took me 20 minutes to get it done. Now I could zip right through it. And then Steve Demand has said he'll help me do the last minute. In other words, you don't know what's going to happen the morning of it. And apparently he helped you last year, right?
Yes,
and,
he did.
And he said he'd be more than happy to do that. Sheila has agreed to give out the tickets and the register people. And if we do it like last year, the big prize is going to be a free membership. Is that everybody agree to that, or should we make a $1,000 prize or something?
No, but you might want to think if a size proposal goes through, you might want to think about a free T-shirt.
You know, I wonder if that wouldn't even be
Can
better.
we get one of those guns and shoot T-shirts at people?
Why don't we do that? Why don't we give them a free T-shirt? Rather than because, you know, we're going to get $30 out of them or whatever it is for the membership. And I don't think that T-shirts cost $30, do they? Yeah, we'll give them a free T-shirt. That sounds good. Will we have them by then?
I'm picking them up on the 31st of May.
Okay, now, you're going to be involved inside with the program. Do we need somebody to sell T-shirts?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So that, okay, does anybody want to volunteer to be a T-shirt salesman that day? We have everybody, I don't know who to choose. Everybody's so anxious to do this. I'm sorry. Well, Sheila's, maybe she could sell T-shirts too at the same time. What do you think? That's a big job. We may have to raise your honorarium, you know. Yeah. Okay, so we got yeah, you get 2 scoops.
Wouldn't you be checking them out at the same time that you're registering for classes? I mean,
not necessarily.
Well, it may not be the same person.
Yeah, and some people won't register there. They'll just go and listen and register.
How much are the t-shirts gonna be?
We're going to talk
Yeah.
about that. We
Yeah.
haven't set a price yet.
So,
Okay,
so yeah, if you want me to register, give them a ticket. And then also sell the t-shirts.
and I'll be around. I haven't signed myself a specific job, and
Yeah, I'm
if you're in
sure.
trouble, I'll help you or whatever, or I'm sure one of the
I'm
others
sure
will.
Steve demanded help too.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
Steve,
yeah.
Steve is a,
He's always my back.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Diane Benak has done a wonderful job in promoting June 3rd on Facebook, and I have, I haven't done Facebook for 15, 20 years. I actually went back and renewed my account just so I could see what you're doing a wonderful job. And Art is promoting it in the, I guess, newspaper stuff and so forth. I haven't specifically. There's Art, you've been promoting, right?
Yay, Art. Yeah.
All right, good. Any comments or questions?
Well, going back to the t-shirts, though, do you have the gizmos to take credit cards? Because people don't.
They can take credit cards, yes.
We will take credit cards, Bonnie, but I don't have a gizmo for it to go to the system we have.
So she'll have to figure it out.
We can give it to them, just enter their credit card number. What I plan on doing is have one PC face toward one of us and the other one for the end user, so they can put their credit card information in and we won't see what they're doing. Yeah,
Sure.
and I think it'll be okay. Believe it or not, we have a student register for spring who does not use credit cards. And so she had to use, she came in with cash.
Yeah.
Would you have two in this last quarter that didn't do it online? Is that what it
We
was?
had eight.
8, oh, really? Okay, but, okay.
And you have to charge.
Mm.
No, we got the CPA over here all.
That's great.
Anybody have any questions or anything? Actually, I think we're really in good shape, ready for June 3rd.
Yep.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, John. Joe, do you have anything to report? Okay. Heather, you want to talk about the financials?
Does everyone have a copy?
This is it? Okay.
I had given everyone a copy of the income statement and the balance sheet for through April the 30th, which was the last bank reconciliation date. We had a good spring. Diane launched the online system and we had a couple of snafus with that, but been a great time savings for, especially for Janet, and for Diane and for me. It wasn't without some problems, but that was just getting up and running and figuring out the systems. You've got the online registration system, we have the credit card processing system, and then still trying to keep up with the information out of that and try to get everything to tie together. So after spending a little bit of time trying to straighten that out and some inconsistencies in the system, I think we have it worked out and we were able to reconcile all the numbers. Like Diane said, people adopted to it immediately. We only had 8 people not register through the online system, only $350 in actual checks. The rest of it, which was $8,000, went through the processing system.
Right.
So people have jumped on that with very little trouble. Some people had some registration problems and things, but in general, it was pretty seamless. If you look at the first column on the report, the April 30th year-to-date actual, that's what we have taken in the income section. Course fees for the second quarter were $4,500. That's the money we took in. People cashed in $245 worth of class vouchers, but those are going away and hopefully over the next quarter or two will no longer be an issue because we're not having class hosts anymore and will not be issuing the vouchers for that. So the money we took in was $4,510. Actually, the number of classes a little higher than that because of the vouchers. Refunded some money, had some contributions. A couple of people overpaid when they registered. People who wrote checks registered for the wrong amounts. We had a couple of people who overpaid and said to keep that. And then we had someone from a previous quarter decline an honorarium. So that came back as a donation also. Expense-wise, the biggest expense, and this was actually incurred in the first quarter, was for the 2,300 and change, is the membership fee for using Wild Apricot, the online system. But that's a 2-year subscription. The 2,300 was for 2 years, so we'll be good with that until the spring of 2025 on that. And then the other expenses in general, just regular things. One additional line item that we have is for merchant service fees. The merchant service fee for the April processing, which we got charged in June, was about $30. So to process the credit cards through the system for the quarter, it's about $330 is what we paid. It works out to be a little bit less than 4%. 3.7% or so is the so I think in comparison to the budget, the middle column is the budget number. We're going to blow through that 450 budget number. Some of it was, I think, when we did the budget, we weren't expecting as many people to hop right on credit card process or the online system as they did. I think we were thinking, oh, it'll be maybe 50-50. Well, that didn't, but we're happy that people are using the online system. But other than that, we're in good financial shape. At this point in the year, we are showing a little bit of a net income. If you flip it over, the sheet over, the balance sheet is on the back. The bank balance as of April 30th was $17,684. So we're sitting on some reserve there. We had a sidebar conversation about the t-shirts. Debbie had asked me if she thought we could afford it, if we had enough money in the bank. I was like, yeah, I have written some checks in May, so the bank balance is a little under 17,000 now. But I think that we're in a position to do that because I don't think we're going to lose money, number one, but we have the money even if we do. Does anybody have any questions about the financials? Okay.
Great job.
It's great to report good news, isn't it?
Yes.
Diane, you want to talk about finances and spring session and anything else you want to talk about?
Heather's gonna hand out a little spreadsheet that I did, so I can confuse everybody on it. We've kind of bounced around the fact that in several classes, we're losing money. And I don't know what the answer is, but this kind of gives everybody an idea of what's happening, and maybe you all can come up with suggestions on what to do with it. I'm sure Thai has input to it since he's curriculum, but this is from spring. These were the classes offered. The second column shows limits. And we tend to be getting more classes that want to place limits on the number of students that can come in. And because of that, we do have it in the operational guidelines where if a person receives a $300 honorarium and they place a limit of 10 students, I can charge $30. So we would break even. The problem is right now, they might take 10 students, but they're only bringing in 5. So we're losing $150 right off the bat. So trying to recap it and show everybody the fee for the course is next. I multiplied the number of attendants times the fee and came up with the amount collected, which would, the first one would be 8 times 25, which was $200. But under honorarium, we paid the person $300. So we lost a total of $100. Now, what we have done, and Sai has done, thank goodness he has to make the call, but if they don't have 5 students, we either cancel the class or Sai will contact them and ask them if they will take the money we have collected, no more. And some have, some haven't. So we either cancel the class or let it go and just wash to 0. So the first column with the red numbers is the gross difference between the honorarium and what we collected. And down at the bottom, you'll see we would have made a total of $425, but you have to take $245 away for the vouchers that we received. And you have to take $220 for the refunds we gave, leaving us a deficit of $40.
we were fortunate that we had several instructors decline their honorarium. And then we had some people say they would accept the money that we made. So that is what the net difference collected is. So we actually made $1,350 less the refunds and vouchers, giving us a total of $885.
Oh, that's a great spreadsheet. I mean.
So Diane,
Ask a question.
could you go back over how you calculate the honorarium? Because I'm looking at, for example, this one jumped out at me, the hand quilting.
Mhm.
So did that one have a limit of 10? Is that how the honorarium got to be 300?
No, the honorarium is based on the total number of hours they teach.
Oh, okay, okay.
So, and this is the operational guidelines. If you teach 2 hours, you get $50 in honorarium. If you teach 15 hours to 16 hours, you get $300. And anything over 16 hours is $300 as well. So it starts out where for every hour you teach is about $25 an hour.
Mhm.
But then once you get to 13 hours, it kind of goes wobbly. It's not 25.
Okay.
So, and like I say, I don't know what the answer to this is, and I don't even know. John probably has a history. Are we trying to just break even, John? Are we trying to make money? Well, I don't know.
Well, I think certainly we're trying to break even. If we can make money towards the process, well and good. Because we have that responsibility now. We have a strong sense of commitment to the institution.
Yes.
College. We'd like to be in a position to contribute to the scholarship fund, that sort of thing.
I looked at this and looked back and over the past 2 or 3 years, I didn't go back further than that, where we're making money, the profit that we have is from the membership.
Yes.
fees. It's not from course registration. The course registration versus the honorariums is about, it's a tiny bit of a moneymaker most quarters, but the real money is coming from the registration, from the membership dues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we should target though. I think we should target at least to break even
Break
with
even.
classes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should be a little more than that.
I agree with
I don't think we should lose.
Well, I think at least as a first step, we ought to break even.
Well, right, and honestly, in dealing with these people who have low enrollments and relatively high honorarium, George Gaines, Shirley Deasy, they don't quibble about it. They understand that we're not in the business of losing money.
Right.
And, I don't believe I've had anybody say, well, I'm just not gonna teach. I mean.
Yeah.
Hello?
I think previously, when I've contacted people, they won't teach because they feel the honorarium's not high enough. I mean, they just won't even consider it. But I never tried the approach like you've done this time, saying, would you just take $135? Like the first semester that they taught blacksmithing, we based it on the honorarium and the fee that he could bring in. And he actually broke even, or we made a little money off of it. This time, registrations, he only got 2 or 3. And so we weren't even gonna break even,
Yeah.
but he took the amount that he brought in, which
Yeah.
was
Hello?
like $135.
Art wanted to say something.
Hello?
Yeah, I'd like to point out that we need to do a little better than breaking even now because we're paying for this online service. So we need to make at least $1,500 a year going forward to pay for our online registration.
There's an improvement.
Okay.
Go to that icon down in the
I'm
bottom
trying
right,
to, see,
Diane.
it's not showing on here. There, let's try this. Hold on, Art.
Can you raise that?
I'm- That's what I was trying over here. Every time I do it, it goes away.
Am I-
Woohoo.
Is it not on
is
the?
my
next-
voice coming through?
Huh?
Is my voice coming through?
No, and I lost you.
Oh, you
There
can't
you
hear
are.
me?
Try that one down in the bottom right too.
Oh,
Diane.
Oh, over there.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, hold on just a minute. Try now.
Hello?
no,
Well-
it's still,
I kind of thought I didn't have you.
Sometimes I feel smug about being.
Hello? You might have to turn the volume up on the TV.
On the TV, okay. Where's the volume?
On the remote for the TV.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to figure out which one's volume though. There's two.
Sign.
there it is.
Okay, try now.
How about now?
Yeah, we got you.
Yay.
You can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, what I was trying to say was that we can't just break even. Now that we have an online service that we're paying for, we need to cover that probably with $1,500 a year just for registrations and internet service and fees. And so we can't be satisfied with just breaking even. We have to make a little bit in order to really break even.
Yeah. Well, I did a little sheet and I didn't make copies of it, but I show the total hours, the amount of the honorarium, the cost of the course, and how many students you need to break even. And I think at one time, John, didn't they say that you had long time ago, 10 students in order to have the class? Yeah, and now we've dropped it to 5 because we sometimes don't even get the 10 or the 15. So, especially on the ones that set the limits, I think, we lose it. Like if we lose $10, that's not too bad. But when you look at losing 100 or 60 or 165, that's quite a bit. So that's the spreadsheet. Going on to the registrar report. Now the total here is going to look a little different. The positive news is when we converted the records, we converted 157 members. Today we have 274 members for spring. So we had like 117 new members sign up. I won't call them new, but we had membership sign up. I can't get to the new yet until we get a little further along with our system. We did offer 193.5 class hours. The number of people registered were 217, and the number of courses they took were 231. And the course fees came in at $48.05. We paid honorarium at $34.55. I deducted the refunds, which was $220. We deducted a facility fee, which this time was only $15. So that gave us $1,115. We lost money the first quarter, so this quarter we actually made $765 altogether, deducting the first quarter. And we had three instructors donated their honorarium for $550. 3 classes were canceled, and 1 class was canceled due to a conflict. And I think this report will have to change next time once I think I need to start including the vouchers deducted from the others so we can see it. Before I couldn't tell you the exact amount because we were just collecting vouchers and I didn't know where they were. So, but I could tell you kind of the total, but now it's very specific.
So what do you suggest?
Well, I'll just say that I'm gonna be a little bit more negotiating with the instructors because nothing more than I have done, because I have.
Mhm.
We can't have this money,
Yeah.
but there are some things that can clearly be raised, and the yoga classes. I don't know about Mark because he's only doing 4 sessions, but y'all said that Heather's is a steal really to.
I would have paid twice. I mean, we really paid what, 20
$20, I think.
$20. Even paying $80 for that was still a bargain over what you would pay street value to go to that
Mhm.
class. So I think there's elasticity in the prices that we charge for the classes that people would be. I'm not every person, but I would pay more for practically every class that I've ever taken.
Yeah,
There's only been, in the year and a half that I've been doing this, only one or two classes that I didn't think was worth the money. All of them have been worth more money.
I think we need some kind of a direction now and approval from the board operationally. So we have some kind of a standard that we can gear toward. Like, I don't want somebody saying, well, Cy and Diane just automatically charge $50 for this class and there's no operational guideline for it.
Mhm.
So we have to have some kind, coming from government, we have to have some kind of guideline to say, if it's this, then you can do that.
Yeah,
Um,
I like the idea about that you had drafted about the break-even point, and then maybe we just consider some add-on to that, so plus 10% or something for what we would hope to make as an above and beyond to cover the admin costs of the online system and, another cushion.
The
um,
problem is, we're not getting the students. In other words, somebody will say, I limit my class to 8,
Mhm,
but they only bring in 4.
mhm.
I've created an amount for 8 students to qualify for that
Right.
honorarium.
But
They
if
only-
Cy adjusts his conversations to say your honorarium will be based off of
That's
the number of students we get to register,
plus 10%.
I think you'll have a lot of people saying, I don't want to teach anymore.
yeah.
Oh, I think that's where it's from.
What
Well,
do
you
you
can-
think, Cy?
I think some of them will go along with what Cy wants, but he had one today call in and say they don't want to teach because
There-
they're not gonna make
There
enough money.
there was more to that. There was more to that. It had to do mainly with when she looked at what she was gonna have to require beginning oil painting students to pay. It was like $200. Just in supplies.
Mhm.
And she felt that was gonna be prohibitive, and so do I.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And she's also used to dealing with the folk school,
yeah,
and they're
Yeah.
pretty expensive anyway.
yeah.
But,
I think historically, one of the biggest draws to our classes over the years has been they're so reasonable. I
Mhm.
think you have to be careful not to jump them so much that you scare people off.
yeah,
Because I think that's gotten a lot of the first time people, oh, I can do this for $20, and then you, I guess, reel them in and hook them that way.
Mhm.
Certainly raising the prices, I don't think would be out of line that I think you have to be careful.
Yeah,
well, the real
and that
solution to
yoga
this-
class always fills up too,
Yeah.
that's the other thing, yeah.
The real solution to this is more students.
Sure,
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah,
But some classes do have to have limits because, there's only, especially like crochet or the art classes or things, there's only so much. They require a lot of hands-on from the
Right.
instructor as opposed to like the tidbits. He could have had 100 people, tidbits of Towns County, it
Sure.
could have been 100 people because it was all lecture, it wasn't.
and right now on all the classes, if they don't have a limit, Janet wanted me to put 20 as a limit for everything. If they reach that point and we want to let more than 20 come in, I can turn it around and let the waiting list fill up and we can take more. I think this classroom was like 27 total, not in, and most of the limit of 20 is for this classroom. So,
The planetarium class, I'm sorry. Planetarium classes, I did both of those and it was great.
Yeah.
We make money on that.
Well, I do because we're only paying that poor woman $50. And I realize it's a short class, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed both of the classes, the one that was at the observatory and one in the planetarium. The planetarium's got a capacity of 100 people.
yeah, I
so-
didn't put a limit on that at
Yeah.
all, but we already had 2 people sign up for the planetarium class this morning, so.
Okay.
Art's out there watching again.
There it
I think John has.
John, you had something?
Well, this would move us into another category, but it's not just a question of numbers in classes, but the number of classes that we offer. And what I've observed is, for a long period of time, I need to go back to be absolutely sure, but it seemed to me that 8 or 10 classes
That's, yeah,
would be pretty much the limit that we would be offering in any particular term. And now, I don't side, you can tell me, but we're double that or so, right?
more, you're 20,
21
22.
So I don't think we've ever really talked about that. My memory, about how many classes should we
Offer.
attempt to offer each term.
I went back and looked, John, and you're right, it was
Yeah.
about 8, but I think because we were in Goolsby and you can only use the afternoon. You
Well,
couldn't use the
that may
morning,
have had some-
yeah,
I'm sure some merit.
yeah.
But again, I don't know if this is a pertinent consideration, but I do wonder if we offered fewer classes, would we stand a chance of getting better attendance in those classes?
Hmm.
Just a thought. I don't know the answer.
If you look, there were a lot of art classes offered this time.
Most of them were pretty full though, weren't they?
What we've got here.
Well, I'm talking about this coming summer.
Oh, the coming summer class,
Yeah.
okay. But these past ones in the spring, weren't they pretty well received?
Yeah, you can see the amount of people that attended. in all
Oh,
of it.
sorry, forgot
Yeah.
that
Another
spreadsheet.
thing that seems
Yeah.
to be a trend is we're getting more classes that are just single. Or
Yeah,
one or two, so,
That too.
yeah. The other consideration about the observatory, $15 you would think is a bargain. But when they give them for the public, they're $5.
yeah.
$5. So. I don't know that we do ask it more than 15.
No, we can't. So maybe on some of the others like yoga, maybe we can, of course. Maybe that's it. Maybe we need to customize the
Fee
tuition
schedule.
as to what,
Yeah.
but that's difficult too, is to decide how much to charge.
And the yoga guy this quarter,
Mark,
Mark, he's doing it at the park, I think. Heather did it, not me, Heather, different Heather did it at Mountain Yoga over in Blairsville in a studio kind of thing. So the situation is different, but I just know what going to Mountain Yoga for an individual class versus what the $20 for 7 classes was a huge bargain. I don't know how much Mark charges. He teaches over on the other side or.
and we asked him if he wanted to teach in Hiawassee, but he didn't seem excited about that. Wanted to teach at the Mayor's Park.
He likes to do the outside thing, he's
Yeah.
got, he does some other. I took his meditation class and so now I'm on his email list and he does some other things, but he likes the outdoor communing with nature kind of situation.
Doing one on paddleboard.
Yeah,
Yoga on paddleboard.
stand up, stop.
Interested to see how that goes.
He only has 3 paddle boards, so I tried to word it saying if you have your own paddle board, you can join, because he said he could take up to 12, but if nobody has their paddle board, then he can only take 3. So. But it's worth trying it and
Yeah.
see what happens. So. You all think about it and figure out what to do.
Could I get a copy of that others? Yeah, that one. Oh, thanks.
Mhm.
That was quick.
Yeah, I can make copies and send them out to everybody if they want. But that is in our
Well, I think
operational
this is kind of-
guidelines
I
right
think we
now.
all just need to think about it and, if you want to form a little subcommittee to work on this, but, I definitely think, we shouldn't be losing money on classes. So I think,
For fall quarter, we need to have it all taken care of, whatever
Yeah.
we're gonna do, don't you think?
I think we changed the letter that goes out to the instructors saying if you would like to donate your. Did you leave that inside? I know for a couple of times I put in, if you'd like to donate your honorarium,
Yeah.
please let us know.
I didn't change any of that.
Yeah, and I never heard back except from Norma.
In the sign up, the instructor intake form, does it now include collecting social security numbers from this instructor?
I think I changed it, so social security's on that last page. You know, where you have to put down and say you agree, I put the social security right underneath where they have to sign.
Several of our instructors are approaching or over the six, I need to 1099 everyone who goes over $600.
Right.
And we have some people who are getting
Getting
there.
close.
So I'll come up with a list. I'll get with the two of you to make sure that we have that information.
Okay. That's it. Any questions?
So if anybody has any ideas or suggestions about this, the course fee and the honoraria and how they're structured and calculated, just please,
Yeah.
let Diane know
And we
and
can try to have a get
we'll try
together
to, yeah,
present
come
something.
together.
in the fall.
Hmm.
fall, right?
Before fall, well, yeah, because I think it needs board approval for the whole.
Yeah.
thing. So,
Well, we did the last time.
I'd like to think of it this way in terms of pricing courses. And I understand Art's got a valid point about we need to cover the expenses of these
Other,
things that we
Enhancements,
brought in.
yeah.
But I'd like to see, for us to think in terms of the membership fee covering those. I mean, those are fixed costs.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah.
membership fee would cover that. The tuition for classes. I think we just need to do what I've tried to do so far, and that's just to say. We're not gonna lose money on, we can't lose money on it. If you'll accept what comes in as your honorarium, we'll go forward with it. You know, that way we're not losing money on the classes themselves, but we have to cover our other costs for membership.
So do you think raising the membership fee a little bit would be
Where are we now? $30?
$30? Yeah.
That's still a bargain.
Well, I think let's look at this first
Yeah,
and then,
we all have different feelings. Yeah, I mean, we're all gung ho at SEL. We all think it ought to be $100 or $50 or
Yeah.
whatever. We can't assume that everybody else feels that.
right,
way.
right.
And I think the population is changing in the area. So, because I can remember people trying to pay their $20 membership fee, it was hard for them. But now I think you got a lot of influx of new people and $20 or $30 is not that big of a deal. But there's still people who want to attend that probably have to be careful. So,
Yeah, and I think we did just raise those, not by a lot, but recently.
Apparently, we're okay on that.
Yeah, I think the membership fees are at a good place for
In
now.
2022, we collected $9,700 in membership fees, and our non-honorarium expenses in 2022 was 8,601. So we made $1,100 off of membership fees versus everything except honorarium expenses.
It sounds like $30 all takes care of itself.
And we're kind of that way.
yeah,
But
but
the difference would be is if we only break even on classes and the membership fees cover that, we're only at $1,000 profit for
mhm,
the year, and that doesn't, that's not giving anything back to.
to the college,
school.
yeah. And I
So-
think we need to look at that. I mean, we were able to do something this year, but in the past, we've given a lot more
Right.
than that. Funny.
An idea just popped into my head. A lot of the organizations that we send money to or places that we buy online have an option when you're getting ready to check
Yeah.
out, whether you wanted to donate another $5 to something, or even when you go to the grocery store, you want to donate another $5. We could test kind of the elasticity of our members as they're on registration and have them, I don't know how difficult it is to add a line to the registration form, but to ask for an optional donation. It's just
Yeah,
$5.
because there is a tab for donations.
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
donation
Okay, make
Yeah.
it more visible
Yeah.
and see if we can,
about this big.
Round it up.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, round up, sure.
Well, it's interesting because we had, like Heather said, 2 or 3 people that overpaid by check. And it's like $5, what are we gonna do with this? So Janet just called and asked them, would you like to donate the $5? And they said, sure. So we just
That's
moved
what
it
I'm
over to
thinking, yeah.
donation.
Yeah.
It's funny, a lot of people will cheerfully do that, or they don't want the refund, the course got canceled. It was $20, they don't want a refund from this, but Janet, myself and Diane, to some extent, I have spent probably $100 worth of time over somebody's $20 refund. check. They're bound to determine they're gonna get,
$15,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they come in all flavors.
it comes in
Yeah.
all flavors,
Yeah.
but more people probably, to Bonnie's point, more people probably, if they were prompted or poked about it,
Yeah.
would probably.
Good idea. I'll take a look at it and see how fast we could put some verbiage out there for that. That's it. No more questions, all right?
Sky?
Me?
Yep, you're up. I should have warned you, you were on deck.
You want me to go up there?
I don't. You can do whatever you want.
Did you guys hear me online? Okay, well, you'll have to picture my smiling face. I'm gonna stay where I am. Usually when I send out this solicitation letter for instructors for the coming session, I get a pretty good response, and this time for the summer session, it just wasn't quite there. So we had to work a little bit harder. I appreciate everybody that pitched in to contact folks. But we have some bright spots about that. We have ended up with 21, or is it 21 or 2 with June dropping out?
It's 22.
So it's 22 classes. Several are art classes. They seem to continue to be popular. But a bright spot is we got 4 instructors from the college.
Wow.
Michaela Jones is teaching again. Adam, look at there. Adam Daniels, who's the chaplain over there, he's teaching one on world religions. Joseph Frank is teaching one on what is religion. So if you need religion, come on Monday. Both classes are on Monday. You start your day with it and end your day with it.
And that side, do you want to tell them about the communication you sent to the faculty and faculty emeriti? Because I think that's what brought those folks.
Yeah, it is. Oh, wait a minute, there's another one. We've got the Richard Neff, who is the classical guitar teacher, who's gonna give a beginning, intermediate guitar class. And that's something we've been asking for.
And Lauren,
For a while.
Lauren, right,
And
for
Lauren.
astronomy, yeah.
Yeah, you need to give it. Yeah, so we're gonna have 2 more astronomy astronomy classes. The guitar instructor. And, people just kind of filled in right there towards the end. I think it's gonna be okay.
So John, John, thank you for that suggestion, because I think you were the one that told us about, sending an outreach email to the faculty and faculty emeriti.
You did.
And I'm also gonna put together a letter to Bobby, who sent us those names and emails.
Bobby Thompson.
And thank her, and because we'll want to keep that list updated. Because, yeah, I mean, we got such great response. I think we should stay on top of that, because that's awesome.
Every quarter, maybe send another.
I will. We also had another little bright spot. I reached out to Jennifer Rushton because we didn't have a place to do a yoga class and we didn't think we are gonna have Mayor's Park. So I called her just to see if there wasn't a room somewhere in the athletic department where we could have a yoga class or something that was active. And she called me back and she said, well, in the athletic department, we don't have any classes, but I'll look around and see if there's a room on campus that you might be able to use. We didn't come up with anything concrete, but I was very happy to hear her, be willing to do that.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's about it. We had, how many classes we have in the art annex now?
Just 2.
Just 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something we only have available during the summer.
Yeah.
So,
How are the responses going for people to come and present in 2 weeks?
fair.
Okay,
There are some that have other plans as always, but,
yeah.
I think we'll have a decent
Good.
turnout.
Good.
Now, I keep getting this guy, Dr. K. Y'all know Dr. K. Tell me about it. I just don't hear from him.
It's a dog baby.
But yeah, that's it. You want the T-shirt report?
Yes, yes, that's, I think I had put that under new business, but sure, since you've got the floor, go ahead.
Well, there's not much to say. Has everybody seen the designs?
Yep.
I have,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. You have it?
Maybe got a picture?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Go on to something else now.
Okay. Art, you want to talk to us about, what you've been doing with, publications and promotions?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just kind of a follow on to what Cy was saying. I'm real excited to see that the interest that he's generated with Lauren in the planetarium. The classes at the planetarium that we offered were very successful, and I'd like to point out there's no class limit there. And even though it was only a $15 class that she offered, it was one of our most profitable classes. So that the planetarium should be a big draw community wide, and we should try to continue to promote that and use that as much as possible. Publicity for the upcoming social. We've done a lot of promotions for that, PSAs for in the newspaper, on the chamber sites. We have it on their calendar, all 3 calendars, and I've also submitted a public a press release for that special event with the chambers. I'd like to mention the business after hours events that are available at the chambers. I send out the bulletins as soon as they come out with the date and the venue of where they're going to be, and I would encourage board members to attend those as much as possible. It's a great way to mingle with the community, to spread the word about ICL. Usually I connect with someone who's interested in attending a class or maybe even teaching a class. Was there any feedback, any from the board on recent meetings, business after hours? I know last week several people were going, Joe and Cy and Terrell.
Did you guys go to that
We
one?
did. The spa, yeah, the spa. Very interesting.
It was interesting. I was amazed that that facility is there. And I mean, they knew who we were. That's a good thing.
I guess that's it. I can't hear very well
That's normal.
from the audience.
Welcome to the club.
That's an issue with these Zoom meetings.
Yeah, that's why we discontinued the simulcast, right?
I think you're right.
Yeah, one of the reasons.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Anything else, Art?
No, that's all I have. I don't have any input on the radio spots. Deb, did you do any interviews or presentations or radio spots?
No, not lately.
Okay. I saw somewhere, maybe it's going to be in the newsletter, where we're going to offer invitations to do presentations to community groups, like maybe the Rotary or the Kiwanis or anyone that has a platform for presentations about ICL.
Sure.
I
Yep.
put that in the newsletter.
Okay. Technology update, there really wasn't much that happened this time. They did put in a switch, so it makes it a lot easier to use your own laptop in the classroom or the PC that's there in the classroom. We're done couple of MailChimp announcements about our social that's upcoming, and we'll probably do another, another one this week. But that's about it. Unless there's any questions or suggestions?
I have one. I missed hearing about the promotion for the course previews. Are you sending or have you sent a save the date or a promotion to the newspapers?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that.
I missed hearing you.
The-
You can't hear me.
The promotions for the course previews, those have appeared in the newspapers, local papers.
No.
Well,
to save the date, you sent it to the newspapers already.
yes, they go out as PSAs though, so they're not guaranteed to get in the newspaper. They're printed on a space available, and just this week I noticed in the North Georgia News, they did a promo on upcoming classes, and it's like 3 or 4 weeks ago, this was submitted to the newspaper, and they finally got around to publishing it. And much of what was in the article, the classes have already finished, so at some point, we may have to consider paying for ads to get things printed or published in time for the classes.
Yeah, well, it's a little late now, but I think that next year we ought to think about paying for advertising for the previews meeting. And maybe even pay for one ad, preceding the classes to make sure that it gets in the paper.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that it's free, but if we're at their mercy whether to publish or not, that's not good. I mean, I think we'd like to have a guaranteed placement at least once. Don't you, Art?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
once in each of the papers, and maybe
Yeah.
on a class that a special class, or maybe a class that needs more promotion than other classes.
Yeah.
That's
So
it
we
then.
can talk about that, and I think you've probably already got in hand, what the ad prices are, but we might want to just put together, some ideas about, and have that in the budget for next year to
Absolutely,
have some paid advertising.
for sure.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if we shouldn't do that for the June 3rd function.
I think it's too late now.
yeah.
Okay, well,
Well, thanks, Art. Thanks for holding down the fort and letting us have Diane today. We miss you though.
we miss her here at home too.
Yeah, yeah.
It might be time to put one in next week's paper. And
You think you have to turn it in by now to get it in?
I've got to add to sell my Jeep. The deadline was Friday for next week. So, yeah.
It's like on the Towns County Herald, as long as by noon on Friday, they'll get it next.
Not the following week, but
Yeah, no, that the next. So
yeah.
you really do have time if you want to do it.
It's not next Saturday, is it Saturday after?
Saturday after. So we do have
Two
time.
Saturday. Well, why don't,
Would you be available to check the deadline and publication dates for the papers, Art, and see if we've got time to put something in there for the meeting on the 3rd?
Sure.
Okay,
We're paying for 60 people. We need 60 people.
yeah. Okay, moving on. I'm sure we're all gonna shed a tear that Maria couldn't be here today because she's cruising the Rhine. Yeah. Poor thing.
We're on Zoom. She could have been here.
No, she's, yeah. Let's see, Facebook update. Diane, you've been doing an awesome job. Did you have anything you wanted to share with the group?
Oh, thank you. No, I just always need more information. Anything you want put out there, just send me. Also, I will be there on the 3rd and I can sell t-shirts, whatever you need.
Great, thanks, Diane. Thanks. Steve couldn't be with us today either, but I think parking decals are in good shape. You guys just ordered a bunch more, right?
yeah, we have the park hotels, Heather's got the bill for it already.
Okay.
David paid.
Okay.
Art met with Steve and they went over the little process. I think we're ready to roll.
Good deal, good deal. John, did you want to say anything?
No,
Okay.
That's what I.
already said so.
That's what I did.
Debbie, I do want to let everybody know, I held off on posting the newsletter. We changed it from bulletin just to newsletter because I no longer want to publish a calendar in it. It's very hard to keep track of everything going on the website and then publish the calendar and keep the money straight. And we've changed fees, so if I go to one spot, that's better. I will put in a registration form that I have to sign. So they can still print it out, and if they want to register by mail. But we're gonna publish that today. I wanted to wait because it has an ad for t-shirts in it. It has, let us speak at your event and a couple other things. And there's one other thing. Oh, and we're sending out a MailChimp to everybody saying 1, 2, 3, go. Don't forget to register. And I'm trying to get that going today. But I wanted to wait till today. And I did get calls all week.
Really?
Wanting to know when the classes were gonna be posted. And then I got several calls after that saying, why can't I register now? Even though I had it in bold, registration begins on May 20th. So I know when I left the house, we had 3 or 4 already registered.
Yeah, I hiked with somebody yesterday and she asked me if we were gonna have the yoga class again. That was because it was such a good deal.
It's always
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah. Okay, new business. The online registration data management system update, I think we've already covered that. It's streamlined a lot of processes, financial processing. We've eliminated a lot of postage because we're not mailing out a bunch of stuff now. So I think it's all going well. If anybody has any feedback from other members or yourself, and just please pass it along because we want it to continue to go smoothly and be the preferred method. We want it to work well and work well for everybody. We will be sending out once we have getting towards the first day of class. Well, I'll send out an email, but and let you know a more precise date. But we will be sending out a sign up for acting as a course introducer to the group and ask you to sign up. And we'll be putting together probably about a 1-page handout that will just give you some tips on, things you want to cover in that introduction to the class, introduce the instructor, that kind of thing. Verifying that every student in the class is registered, that's important. So those kinds of things, we'll put something together and make sure you have that you're ready to be the introducer for that particular class. We already talked about discontinuing the name tags and using the erasable name tips and the classroom usher. Do we need to have a discussion, a motion and vote on that? Sounds like everybody's okay with it. I don't think, because there are no really policies about it in the
voucher?
No, well, the vouchers and the
Get rid of the-
class hosts and
We already voted on getting rid of the vouchers.
I don't think we did in March. We talked about it. Yeah.
It's an Operational guidelines that we
Yeah.
issue vouchers, but we can, as long as everybody's in agreement that we can get rid of that. I think in the newsletter, I put that the vouchers would be honored for a 1-year period from the date issued as of January.
Mm-hmm.
So people that have vouchers can use them.
Yeah. Because we were talking about not losing money and we were. So for example, you get a voucher for $40 for $50 for hosting a certain class, and then for hosting a $20 class, and then you want to use the voucher for a $50 class. ICL's just lost $30. But so we want to cut every place that we can find where we're losing money, because that's the obvious first place. So that was one of the other reasons we wanted to get rid of that class host. And for the vast majority of classes, with the exception of George Owens, after the first class, there's nothing for the class host to do, really.
I don't think anyone would not take the class because they couldn't be
Right,
host.
right,
you know?
right. So we talked just a little bit about T-shirts. There is a tab or an option in the new online on our new website. I need to start calling it a website and not just the online registration system, because it is our new website. But it is there's a tab for a store. And we had talked a little bit previously about, well, that's another way we could raise money is to have some ICL items for sale in that store. So Side took the initiative to do some research on some T-shirts, and they're very cool. There are a couple of options. Sai, if you could just send out the designs to folks.
I just texted the design to Art.
Okay.
Art, if you can pull it up and share your screen, everybody can see the design.
Did you hear that, Art? Can you pull up the T-shirt designs and share your screen so we could see it, everybody could see it?
The man out.
You can do it on the little thing here too.
Give me just a second.
Okay. Anyway, we had a brief discussion among the executive board members, finance in particular, because I got a quote for what we would initially need to invest as a stocking fee, and it was less than $1,000. What was it, 8 something?
851.
851. And so before responding yay or nay, I checked with Heather to see that see how much money we had. And when she said 17,000, I said, I think we can afford $800. So we made the decision to move forward with that. And they're very cool looking T-shirts. And I loved, Diane sent me a sample of what it looked like on the website. And how much are they literally, or how much is the cost to us, Si?
After the setup fee and all that stuff,
Mhm.
which goes away if you do more,
Right.
they're right at $12.
Okay. So anyway, the sample Diane sent me said $20, and then it was crossed through and it said sale price 17. So I said, that's a great idea. People love sales. They might buy it just because they're thinking they're getting a deal. But anyway, so we wanted to talk about that and if everybody's in favor. At this point, my personal feeling is let's start with T-shirts and then expand, and let's see how the T-shirts go first before we start ordering other ICL logo. But sure, Bonnie.
So some orders went off the website.
Mhm.
What would be the shipping and the handling and the packaging, and how does it get?
We're giving them two options. One, we have to figure out how much the shipping would be. The other is if they want to pick it up at the office, they can click on that button and then there's no charge for shipping or handling. Yeah, and I think most people would do that, or they pick it up at the class time. The other option I have is I can say, if you're a member, the T-shirt price is this. If you're a non-member, the T-shirt price is this. I don't know if we want to do that, but you can do that.
I think we ought to keep it easy.
Easy.
Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see the shirts?
Go ahead, Art.
Can you see the shirts?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you,
Okay.
Art.
So
Sure.
this is 3 designs. The top one is the front of all 3. One design is nothing on the back. And the other 2 are those other phrases that are on the back. I may be old, but I'm still learning. And the other one John Scott brought up was live as if you die tomorrow, learn as if you'll live forever.
That's not my quote, that is.
Yeah, it doesn't say John Scott underneath. Sorry, John.
But they're already paid for and they'll be here. I'm gonna go pick them up on May 31st.
And so you'll introduce that at the preview, right?
Yes.
There,
I was
Mhm.
hoping we'd all wear them.
maybe.
Yeah.
How many different sizes?
Hmm?
How many different sizes have you?
Small, medium, large, extra large, and double X.
I think that'd be a great idea,
Yeah.
Bonnie, if we can.
How do you? I'm wondering how you know how many to order in all of those.
Probably
It's a
lot of extra
scientific, yes. That's swag.
All right, that's good.
If you can give me those numbers, I can put them in the inventory, so we'll have them all listed and ready to go for sale.
Okay. Okay.
I thought you were gonna say you had an algorithm for the
Yeah.
sizes.
I usually think, don't you go just a couple at the small and a couple at the
Yeah.
extra large, and then the medium and
Yeah.
large.
That's
is the
right.
biggest
Yeah.
amount.
So you said that you're, I'm sorry, Si, you said you're picking them up on the 31st?
Yes. So they should be available for the 3rd.
Yeah. What day of the week is the 31st on? I'm trying to think if we could set something up here so that we could let board members pick one up before the 3rd meeting and we can wear them to the meeting.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday? So maybe if we could get them here, we might even have could be here Saturday, bring some Saturday morning and be here if people want to stop by before the meeting. You could change, in a restroom.
I think that would be great.
Yeah,
I would prefer to do that before Saturday.
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna
would
have
too.
household company that
Yeah.
day.
yeah,
Gonna walk out.
yeah, Bonnie.
Maybe give one of the t-shirts to the president?
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I think you ought to pay.
Any comments, observations? Bill,
I like them.
what do you think?
I think that's a great design.
yeah.
Price point.
I like the t-shirts.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially about being old.
yeah.
What are we gonna charge for them?
What do y'all think?
T-shirts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that 17 this
I like that. I may be old. I just think that's cute.
For simplicity,
Mhm.
at the ice cream social, I won't be there. My son has the audacity to get married.
We won't change.
Boy, you'll be sorry.
He changed it after that came out, so I can't be there, but for simplicity, do you think a lot of people who pay in cash, you want to just be $20 because people,
Maybe that.
and not have to. keep change?
I was thinking the same thing, Heather. I was thinking 15 and I said, that's not enough.
That's about 20.
So 20, I think, is a good round number. And then maybe afterwards, Diane, we use your approach and sale online. Yeah, 17 or 18.
Now visitors can, even if they're not a member, they can come onto the system
Hmm.
and they can buy t-shirts.
Right.
So you don't have to be a member or contact, you can just come in as a member or as a visitor.
Yeah.
Which I sent you an email, Heather, I think I bought one for $1 and then voided it out.
Yeah.
So you got that.
No,
Oh.
I saw it. I didn't get an email about it, but I saw it. I was looking at that and there were two $30 charges. And
Yeah.
I was like, what is that?
We actually had people come on and pay their membership.
Paid membership with nothing else.
Spring court, before summer courses were announced, they just wanted to get their membership purchased.
Good,
Want to be.
good.
Yeah.
Well, I've done that with other groups that I knew I wanted to belong to, but I didn't sign up for anything right away, but I just go ahead and get it out of the way.
And I don't know if maybe next time we need to discuss the fact, do we want to send out invoices to everybody that's a member this year and ask them to pay before January 1st so that we get the membership money in
Mhm.
early?
I think if we sent out an, MailChimp blast, I think that would be great.
Well, the system will actually invoice them.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
The system will send out emails.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
that 1.5% per month if they don't pay, right?
You pay now, it's $30, you pay later, it's 35.
You assume the third over the collection agent.
Anybody have any other new business you wanted to bring up? Questions about anything we've talked about?
You did
Okay.
a great job, Debbie.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. Just a few calendar events of note. We've talked about this quite a lot today. The general membership meeting and course previews in 2 weeks on Saturday, June the 3rd. Our summer session of classes starts June 26th. Registration starts today, right, Diane, with the release of the news? Yep, so the classes start June 26th and run through August 18th. Our next board meeting, same place, same time,
Okay.
is Saturday, August 12th. And that's it. Like I said, I'm very excited. I just think we're in great shape. I think we have a great group. Not only this group, but those who couldn't be here today and our membership. I think our membership is growing. That's wonderful. These numbers are awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, John briefly mentioned the nominating committee. If there's anybody there at the general meeting that wants to, because I'm going to announce that as well, that you think would be a good contributor to the board and perhaps consider being a member at large. We do have 3 of those positions cycling off of their terms coming up in 2024.
3 board members at large and 1 vice president.
That's right.
So well, as far as I know, the president, vice president, the executive board, secretary, treasurer, vice president, president, those are all for 1-year terms.
Right. So I'm assuming Heather is staying where she is. I will. And certainly Joe is staying where she is. Talker side. And so John's moving to president. So we'll have a vacancy for
Okay.
vice president.
Okay. Okay.
So, Debbie, the next business after hours, I think, Art, isn't it June 8th? And it's both Clay County and Union County.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm available to go to either one of them. I'm just not comfortable yet being the solo person there. So
Sure.
if somebody will join me, that would be great. And I can do either. I live in here, so it doesn't matter to me
Okay.
if I do the Union County one or the Blairsville one.
Okay.
I'd just like to have a buddy.
Okay.
Where are they?
Debbie,
Yes.
who was that volunteered?
Sheila Rogers.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Where are they?
And where are they, Art? I didn't
Um,
bring my spreadsheet with me.
Clay County is at, Roosters Rental. Roosters Rental in Hayesville, and Union County is American Home Place. I don't know where that is yet.
Oh, yeah, it's around 76. Yeah.
And they're both on the same day?
Yes,
And what day of the week is that?
Thursday.
Thursday?
yes,
Thursday?
Thursday.
I'll go with you, Sheila, whichever one you want to go to.
Okay. Is anybody else?
I think.
Take the other.
Let me
place?
make sure I don't have a commitment.
I'll do the, so
you want to do the nation, where is the? You want to do Blairsville? Or what's easier for you?
Clay County would be closer, but I can do Blairsville, because you want to do those.
So.
Bonnie's is, Blairsville, right?
Okay, Thursday's June 8th.
Blairsville.
Is that what she said? June
Yeah.
8th? Okay. Yeah, I can do it.
Which one is better for you? Hayesville or?
I'm at Track Rock, so I'm like you. I'm probably equidistant from Townsend Union.
What do you want to do? The ladies are pretty new. Do you mind going to Thursday and maybe if you'll do Hayesville with me.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry about it. And if anybody else wants to join us, it's fun. I've done one, you know.
Yeah.
See what America's Home Place, yeah.
A little bit, but, you know, I mean, look at, you know, that every time I'll, you know, I'm here.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You already got me.
I wish I could do that.
Yes.
I moved with.
Terrell has made a motion that we adjourn. Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks again, everybody, for coming in for
What have you-
all your hard work and support.
I'll give it to Jen.